If you have a lot of patience, then Recycling Center Simulator might be a good game for you to play. If you don't have a lot of patience, then it might be something you want to pass on by. And the reason I say this is because this is a very in-depth game, but it does take a lot of time to get into the main part of the game. Let me explain. When you start off this game, you start off with the very bare minimum, and progression is a little bit slow when it comes to money in the game. Not as slow as the growth of this channel if you don't hit that subscribe button and come back and view more of my videos. By the way, I'm Lycan from Greenlycan Reviews, and welcome to the channel. So the general idea is that you start off by going to your computer and you get a location that you pay for, you bargain for the lowest price possible, and then you go there. Once you're at the location, you open up the doors to your van and you essentially pick up everything off the floor. It can be a little bit tedious and take some time. Later on, you can get other people to do this for you, so you don't have to go to these locations and do this sort of stuff. But at the start of the game, it's something you have to do by yourself. So you go around picking things up, and then you press a button to put it into a bag, and you throw that into the back of your van, and you rinse and repeat and keep doing that until you've emptied everything from that location. Then you go back to your recycling center, and you put the stuff onto a conveyor belt. Once all the stuff is on the conveyor belt, then you have to sort it. Now, at the start of the game, it's not too much of a problem, but when you go to 3 or 4 different locations and you grab a lot of things from all these locations, you'll have a van that's pretty much full to the brim, and you have to manually put all these things onto the conveyor by just grabbing them and throwing them. Now, that might not seem like a big problem. Then you get into the sorting part of it, which can, if you like the idea of clicking and dragging things, then you could really enjoy this part of the game. Personally, at the start I did. Then I got very restless doing it because it's so tedious when you play the game for long periods of time. But you have to drag each type of recycling material into its own bin, and that's how you sort things. And once you've gone to 3 or 4 different locations and you put all of this stuff onto the conveyor, you've got to sort all of that stuff by clicking and dragging. Once you do that, then you go down, you grab the bin, and you take it over to a storage area, and that's where you store your materials. Now, the sorting part of this game, just to be clear, it can be sped up. You can hire staff to do it for you, so this is where I say patience is something you need for this game. But once you do get into it and you are able to hire staff to do the jobs for you, then it kind of opens up and it gets a lot more fun. Unless, of course, you like the little micromanagement stuff, in which case you're going to love the game from the beginning. So we got these storage containers with all this stuff in. Later on, you can also get like a recycling bin area where people from the public can come in and put stuff into the bin, so that can add to it as well. But now you have to just basically buy a machine, and you have a different set of machines for essentially each material. So for this example, let's talk about plastic. You start off with plastic recycling and you want to break that stuff down, so you get the machine for that. And then once the stuff's processed in that machine and turned into like the broken down materials, you can then use that to create something, and then use that to create a product and then sell that product. And that's the way the whole thing works. It's like a production line. And the fact that they've added conveyors recently, it gives you the ability to kind of cross things over and sort things from conveyors. You can create elaborate systems of conveyor belts that essentially takes things from one place to another. And there are some hybrid things that you might need in order to maybe say use metal and plastic in order to create hybrid products which you can then sell. And then the way that you move these things around is you take the product and you put it onto a pallet. This pallet you place wherever you want to, and then you can click multiple times if you're close enough to the products where they've fallen in order to put them onto the pallet. And then you can also use a pallet truck to move these things. So later on in the game, you'll get robots that can move them for you, which can kind of speed things up as well. Generally speaking, this game is really fun. Like, I really enjoyed playing it, but I couldn't really play it for long periods of time. I would love to do a full in-depth review on this game, but unfortunately I don't have the ability to do that because I never got far enough into it to be able to review it all the way to the end. And I mean, like, I created materials and I turned them into things and I finished production, but unfortunately I just didn't have the patience to continue this through right up to the end, so I had all these production lines and conveyors. I've seen that from other people, and I can say that it's definitely something that you can enjoy if you get to it. You have the ability to upgrade your warehouse to make the land bigger, and then upgrade your storage areas and all of the different parts of the game essentially to expand your business to have more machinery and more storage space and even more places for trucks to be able to park, so you can have other trucks that you can hire, and those trucks can be sent out to gather materials from properties where you've taken the contracts from. So essentially you can expand to a massive business by the end of this game. You have the ability to go onto the computer and take contracts, and you can sell individual materials, or you can sell in contract in bulk. So there's other ways that you can do this. You also have the ability to get things like crowbars and lockpicks to be able to access certain things on certain sites you go to. Like I said at the start, if you enjoy these kind of micromanagement sort of games, then you're going to love this game. Get it and just enjoy it. If you haven't got patience for those kind of things, you could still get on with the game, but just in small, short kind of sessions like I did, where I played it for 6-7 hours over the space of maybe a week or two. It's just not something I can get into consistently, because I need new things to do all the time. That's just the way I am. But you could enjoy this game, and I would definitely recommend it for you if you enjoy micromanagement style games, or things that just involve you to kind of be involved constantly. It's quite fun to play in that aspect. Now, if you've been watching videos on my channel for any amount of time, you'll probably notice that around December time I just disappeared. And I'm just going to use this opportunity to say I've just been unwell, essentially, and I've quit smoking. So I've essentially just been away trying to recover and get back to normal, which I am now, and I'm all good. So videos should start up soon and be more regular. And for everyone else that hasn't been watching my stuff, feel free to hit that subscribe button and, you know, come back and check out my future videos when I do release them, now that I am back. Not that you knew that. And for the final thought, I think this game just generally is a well-made game. It's made and published by Playway SA, and they do make a lot of simulation style games that are actually really fun to play. So it's definitely worth giving it a go. I personally will give this game a 7 out of 10. I feel like there are things that could be fixed and could be kind of made better, but generally speaking, it's a fun game to play and it's worth it, and it's not really that expensive either. And if you do play the game and you do enjoy it, then get down in the comments and let me know that you've enjoyed it, because it's nice to know that my recommendations and what I say about games actually mean something to people and might actually help you to decide whether you buy a game or not.